Hello, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Toby.
And this is the Whispering Woods podcast. This episode is all about
ancient vampires.
Yes, I've got 3 true ancient vampire stories. And I'm saying ancient because they really are quite old. I'm still a bit stuffed up because the COVID is lingering. We've got a new patron to say thank you to.
Debbie H.
Yeah, thank you, Debbie H. We know who you are. And thank you so much for supporting the podcast. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/The Whispering Woods. Right, ancient vampires. I doubt very much if you know any of these stories. One thing I do need to say about the first story is I think I forgot to put the original date in. So the story actually takes place in 1726. Right, are you ready for the first bloodsucker?
Yes, I am.
Arnold Powell was a young Serbian soldier who had seen the horrors of war and death. He had fought bravely for the Austrian Empire against the Turks, but he had also suffered a terrible fate. While patrolling a Greek village's dark and desolate streets one night, he felt a sudden pain in his neck. He turned around and saw a pale, gaunt figure with sharp fangs and red eyes. It was a vampire, a creature that fed on human blood and could turn others into its kind. Arnold struggled to free himself, but the vampire was too strong. Feeling his life force draining away and his vision fading, Arnold saw his life play out before him, but somehow managed to push the vampire off and ran away, escaping but fearing he was infected. He'd heard stories from the locals about how to prevent the curse. You were to find the vampire's grave, dig up its corpse, and burn it. The stories also claimed you had to eat some of the soil from the grave and smear yourself with the vampire's blood. Arnold did this, hoping it would save him. After this incident, Arnold relocated to Medveda, where he settled as a farmer. Meeting a lovely girl, he married and planned to start a family. He tried to forget his past and live an everyday life, but couldn't escape his destiny. One day he fell from a hay wagon and broke his neck. He died instantly and was buried in the village cemetery. But he did not rest in peace. Soon after his death, strange things began to happen. 4 people from the village claimed they were being plagued by Arnold, and these 4 people soon died of a mysterious illness. They coughed up blood, grew pale and weak, and wasted away. They claimed they had seen Arnold's ghost at night, coming to their beds and biting their necks. The villagers were terrified and suspected that Arnold was a vampire. They asked the Austrian authorities for help, who sent a military officer to investigate. They exhumed Arnold's body 40 days after his burial and were shocked by what they saw. Arnold looked as if he was still alive. His skin was warm and fresh. His hair and nails had grown, and his mouth was stained red. His heart and lungs were full of blood, which spurted out when they stabbed him. They realised that he was indeed a vampire, and an arch-vampire at that. They decided to destroy him and end his reign of terror. They drove a stake through his heart, which made him shriek loudly. They cut off his head and burned his body. They also dug up the graves of his victims and did the same to them. They hoped this would stop the epidemic, and restore peace to the village. But they were wrong. The vampire plague continued around 5 years later, in the winter of 1731, and more people died. The villagers told Oberstleutnant Schneesner, the Austrian military leader who ran the administration, about the new deaths. He feared a plague outbreak and called for Imperial Contagions Medicus by the name of Glacier in the nearby town of Parasin. On the 12th of December 1731, Glacier checked the villagers and their homes. He did not see any signs of an infectious disease and said the deaths were because of poor nutrition in the area and the harmful effects of the strict Eastern Orthodox fasting. But the villagers refuted this, saying the sickness was the effect of vampires. At that time, 2 or 3 families would stay together at night, some sleeping whilst the others watched. They thought the deaths would not end unless the authorities killed the vampires, and said they would leave the village to save their lives if that did not happen. Glacier agreed to dig up some of the dead. He was surprised to see that most of them had suffered no decomposition, and many were fat and had blood in their mouths, while some others, who had died more recently, had decayed. Glacier wrote his findings in a report to the J. Godina commander's office, saying that the authorities should calm the people by doing what they asked and kill the vampires. Schneesner sent Glacier's report to the Supreme Command in Belgrade. The city was then under Austrian control. Botta Adorna, the vice commander, sent a second group to investigate the case. The new group had a military surgeon, Johann Fluckinger, 2 officers, Lieutenant Colonel Butner and J.H. Lindensfels, and 2 other military surgeons, Siegel and Johann Friedrich Baumgarten. On 7th of January, with the village leaders and some local Roma, they opened the graves of the dead. They saw the same things as Glacier, but their report had more details about the bodies. The group noticed that while 5 of the bodies were rotten, the other 12 were, quote, whole and fresh, and had the features that people linked to vampirism. Their chests and sometimes other organs had fresh, not clotted blood. The organs inside were thought to be, quote, in good shape. Some bodies looked fat, and their skin was red and bright, not pale. And in some cases, new nails were growing on the fingertips. The surgeon said that all these things meant the bodies were in a vampire state. After they'd finished checking, the Roma cut off the heads of the vampires and burned both their heads and their bodies, throwing the ashes into the West Morava River, and the rotten bodies were put back in their graves. The report is from 26th of January, 1732, Belgrade, and has the 5 officers' names. According to Glacier's account, by the 12th of December, 6 weeks had passed, and 13 villagers had lost their lives. He listed the names and ages of the dead in chronological order. Milika, a woman of 50. Miloji, a boy of 14. Joachim, a boy of 15. Peta, a boy of 15 days. Stana, a woman of 20 and her infant, who was buried behind a fence where the mother had lived because it was not baptized. Ukika, a boy of 9. Milosava, a 13-year-old Hadjak's wife. Rad, a man of 24, and Ruzika, a woman of 40. Many people fell ill with chest pains, fevers, spasms, and sharp pains in their sides. Glacier reported that the villagers accused Milica and Stanna of causing the vampire plague. He explained that Milica had come from the Ottoman lands 6 years earlier. The villagers said that she had been a good neighbour and they had never seen or heard anything evil from her. However, she had once admitted that she had eaten 2 sheep that vampires had killed in the Ottoman lands. Stanna had also confessed that she had smeared vampire blood on herself to protect herself from vampires. The villagers thought that these 2 actions would make the women become vampires after their deaths. According to Flockinshare's report, 17 villagers had died in 3 months by 7th of January. Glacier had left after 2 of them. He said that the villagers blamed Milica, the first victim, for eating the sheep that the old vampires, Powell and his followers from 5 years before, had slain. Kalmutz's report tells that Zanoska, the Hedjak's daughter, went to bed healthy, but woke up shaking and crying that Milio, the Hedjak's son, who had been dead for 9 weeks, had tried to strangle her in her sleep. She got weaker and weaker and died in 3 days. The people dug up Milio's son and found out he was a vampire, just as Stanoska had said. On the 13th of February, Glacier's father, Johann Friedrich Glacier, a doctor in Vienna, who had also contributed to the Nuremberg journal, Commercium Literarium, wrote a letter to its editors with the whole story his son had shared with him on the 18th of January. The story aroused a lot of curiosity. After that, both reports, especially Flockinshare's more elaborate one, and the letter, were reprinted in many publications and books. What do you think?
Yeah, back then it's always like a spiritual thing. We're like, oh yeah, what we do, we'll cut their heads off and burn them and make some, I don't know, rituals or something in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably sit there, I don't know, but I'd wait for him to attack me. I'd just sit there with a shotgun or something.
Would you trust, because they say that vampires are repelled by garlic.
Yeah.
So would you be willing, right, there's a vampire on the loose, to sit on your front porch with just a string of garlic around your neck and a crucifix?
I'd do it, innit? I mean, I wouldn't believe, I think it's waffle, innit? I don't think that can make vampires go away. But I'd at least try it, innit?
But would you be comfortable to just sit there with that and nothing else?
I'd be comfortable with my shotgun and that's it.
But your shotgun, what's that going to do?
Well, it makes me feel comfortable.
Not that you have a shotgun.
No.
We're kind of making it sound like you do. Makes me feel well comfortable when I'm sat there with my shotgun. You'll have to go shooting one day. I told you that I'm a good shot.
Yeah.
I just the first few times I loved it, and then it was just, actually this is terrifying, and I couldn't do it anymore. I was too nervous, and I hit some of these clay things up in the sky.
Yeah, it's a rush though, isn't it?
I think the zombie apocalypse, I'll be the marksman.
Yeah. I'd make a device so plate shooter.
Yeah.
So it's plates and then it shoots into the sky and I aim at it with my rifle and bang.
For practice.
Yeah.
Right. Now I've got another ancient vampire story, and this time we're over in America. So are you ready for the second story?
Yes, I am.
The winter of 1982 was harsh and unforgiving in the small town of Exeter, Rhode Island. The residents were plagued by a deadly disease that had no cure: consumption or tuberculosis. Many people in the area had fallen victim to it, especially the Brown family. George Brown was a farmer who had lost his wife, Mary Eliza, and his eldest daughter, Mary Olive, to consumption in the previous years. He was left with 2 children, Edwin and Mercy, who were his only hope and joy. But fate was cruel. and soon Edwin contracted the disease as well. He coughed up blood, grew pale and thin, and suffered from night sweats and fever. George was desperate to save his son and sent him to Colorado Springs, where the climate was supposed to be better for his lungs. He hoped the fresh air and sunshine would heal him, but he was wrong. Edwin returned to Exeter in 1892, worse than ever. He was barely alive, and his father feared he would not last long. Mercy, who was 19 years old, was the only healthy member of the family. She was a kind and cheerful girl who helped her father with the farm work and cared for her brother. She was well liked by the townsfolk, who admired her courage and beauty. She had long brown hair, bright blue eyes, and rosy cheeks. She was the picture of health and vitality until she, too, succumbed to consumption. She died on the 17th of January, 1892, and was stored in an above-ground crypt in the Baptist cemetery next to her mother and sister. Her father was heartbroken and felt like he had nothing left to live for. He prayed for a miracle, but none came. Meanwhile, the town were gripped by fear and superstition, believing that consumption was caused by a vampire. They thought that one of the dead Browns was the vampire, and that it was draining the life force from Edwin. They urged George to exhume the bodies of his family and look for signs of the undead. George didn't believe in such nonsense, but he was pressured by his neighbours and friends, who claimed they were trying to help him. He reluctantly agreed to let them dig up the graves with the help of a doctor named Harold Metcalf and a reporter named Michael Bell. They did so on the 18th of March, 1892, a cold and cloudy day. They opened the coffins of Mary Eliza and Mary Olive and found them decomposed as expected. They were not the vampire. But when they opened the coffin of Mercy, they were shocked by what they saw. She looked almost unchanged, as if she'd just fallen asleep. Her skin was still soft and warm, her hair and nails appeared longer, and her organs contained clotted and darkened blood. Her face was discoloured by the fluids that had leaked from her nose and mouth. They were convinced she was the vampire, and that she was responsible for Edwin's condition. They decided to destroy her and stop her evil influence. They cut out her heart and liver and then burned them on a nearby rock. They then fed the ashes to Edwin as a tonic, hoping to cure him of his disease. But their efforts were in vain. Edwin died on the 2nd of May, 1892, joining his family in death. Mercy's grave was vandalised and desecrated, and her name became a legend. She was known as Mercy Brown, the last vampire of New England.
Yeah, them kind of like old 1600, 1700 kind of creepy westerns, you know, where like, and saying all that, oh yeah, you're a witch, and they hang them and all that. That
witch
reminds,
trials.
yeah, it reminds me of when we went to that woods where there's like stories of that horse and carriage where you can see like the marks that has gone through, and like we went over auntie and that in it.
When we did the ghost hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we was doing the recorder thing, listening back because you're supposed to hear a horn or something.
What it was. The horn was on
we
there.
heard it.
I mean, there was like horns of trucks as well. But there was a horn. And then when we were at one stage, that wind was going really strange. Can you remember? In the trees.
And we was walking where the horses were supposed to be, and we smelt horse poo and that.
Yeah. It was pretty scary.
And I found that old lady's brick house where she got chased out of her house or something.
Yeah.
We was looking for it, and I looked around and I realised we was standing in it.
Yeah.
Because just brick wall going around. I was like, well, this has got to be it, ain't it?
We're going to have to go back up there because we were planning to do some sort of ghost hunting last summer, but we didn't get round to it. And then George fell and all of that business. And it was just like, nah, not now, but maybe we can get out this year. That'd be cool. What about the story? What do you think of that with Mercy Brown? I love that name.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't know how drinking blood and ashes can help you. To be fair, I'm not a doctor or nothing, but honestly, I don't think that can help me, my love.
Well, I suppose back in the day, they would have tried anything to get rid of it, you know?
Yeah, if they tried anything, they would be gone a long time ago. Because they're thinking, like, you want some more generations and that, and if this is stopping it, you've got to get them gone.
You got to get them gone.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Kill the vampires off?
Yeah, just put them out of misery.
So even if you had an inkling that somebody back in the day, back in those times, you would have got your steak ready. And we don't mean the sizzling kind. We mean the wooden through the heart kind.
Yeah. If I heard something that was like happening because of something, then that something is not going to happen anymore.
Oh, we'd have to call you Witch Finder General.
I'd just be the king.
Oh. Right, are you ready?
And everybody bow down to me. I'm like, Lord.
Oh my Lord.
Give me bread.
I'll have cake. Yeah. Right, are you ready for the next story?
Yes, I am.
Wainwright was a shoemaker who lived in Wrocław, a town in Poland, in the late 16th century. He was a quiet and solitary man who mainly worked at night. He had a reputation for making the finest shoes in the land. But he also had a dark secret. He had made a pact with the devil, and he was accused of being a heretic. One day, in September 1591, he decided to end his life. He took a knife and cut his own throat, spilling his blood on the floor. He was buried the next day, but he didn't stay in the grave. He began to haunt the town, feeding on the living, appearing to people at night and leaving bruises on their bodies. He also got into bed with them and squeezed their arms and legs so hard that he left finger marks on their skin. He caused fear and panic among the townsfolk, who didn't know how to stop him. They decided to dig up his body and see if he was the source of the trouble. They found him looking fresh and intact, his skin tight like a drum. He had a rose-shaped birthmark on his foot, which confirmed their suspicions. They took him out of his coffin and reburied him under some gallows, hoping that would end his curse. But it did not. Wainwright continued to terrorise the town and even attacked a woman and a vicar. He left hoof marks in the snow as if he'd turned into a horse. The townsfolk were desperate and dug him up again. They saw that he still had fresh blood in his body, which flowed out when they cut his leg. They were horrified and decided to destroy him. They chopped off his head and burned his body. They also burned his ashes and threw them into the river. This ended his evil influence and brought peace back to their town.
Life is full of exciting moments. Whether you're buying a new home, opening an account as you welcome a new family member, or planning for retirement, you need a bank that's there when it matters. At Atlantic Union Bank, you'll find helpful people and digital tools to make banking for all of life's moments a little easier. Because you deserve a financial partner who cares as much as you do. Call, visit us online, or drop by a branch to learn more. Atlantic Union Bank. Any way you bank.
You'll get more than you expect with McValue at McDonald's. Like deals on your late-night go-tos when the party goes till dawn. And savings on their faves. So date night always passes the vibe check. Plus, when the fam shows up for the weekend, you can show out for breakfast.
Buy one breakfast sandwich, add one for $1. Only in the app. Limited time only at participating McDonald's. Valid once a day. Must opt into rewards. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
So what I gathered from that was that he sold his soul to the devil so that he could make amazing shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a bit odd.
Well, a lady loves
That's
her
what
shoes.
people do, innit? Like they sell their soul to like be rich and all that,
Be successful.
and be like
Yeah.
popular. That's what like
Yeah.
bear celebrities and that have done.
Mm.
Apparently,
Yeah, we're still going to do that cover of that on the Crossroads and stuff like that. It's on my list.
yeah, it's like the 27 Club a bit, innit?
Yeah, it kind of moulds into it. So I think we'll do that next week, actually, because I keep saying we'll do it, because I know you're really interested in that stuff. So it sounds to me, if we get like a vampire, if vampires become endemic, what we need to do is burn them and throw their ashes in the river, because that's like what 2 of the stories do.
Yeah, you know when they sleep in coffins, innit? But when they're sleeping in their coffin, I burn them in that. Because like they're not gonna know, are they? You're not
No.
allowed to fight it. They don't go down with a fight. They just go down in flames.
Yeah, if you do it in the daytime, they'd be none the wiser, would they?
Yeah, because they can't look in like mirrors and that as well, innit? So I just surround them in mirrors.
Mirrors, have that, have it.
And garlic on up his nose and that.
Right, so next week I've got some more ancient vampire stories for the extra. But I hope you like the episode. I love some of the older stories, don't you, Toad?
Yeah, it reminds me of them. You know that? Remember the Fear Street films? I think they were called Fear Street.
Yeah, what, the
One of them-
80s sort of.
But one of them was in like the 1600s, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of that.
Yeah, I just love it. There's a film called Witch, which is amazing. And I love folk horror. Anyway,
And The Devil of All Time with Tom Holland in.
Oh, that was really good, but that's not really...
Yeah, but it's got
folk
that kind of like vibe in it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like it's kind of like an old style like country film.
Yeah.
And it's just disturbing.
Disturbing is key.
Well, that's the end of this episode. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
We will. We will catch up with you again on Thursday. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
No one knows your business better than you. So who better to create your website than, well, you. Wix's website builder puts it all in your hands. Create a beautiful website just by talking with AI or choosing from thousands of templates. Customize every detail with simple drag and drop tools and get everything you need to start running business your way. Build more, think bigger, and do it all yourself on Wix. Go to Wix.com.
Every business has unique needs. Perhaps your business needs a better way to manage cash flow, help protect against fraud, or efficiently bank online. Or maybe you're on a roll and ready to expand. Whatever your business needs, Atlantic Union Bank pairs modern technology with knowledgeable bankers dedicated to making banking for your business easier. Call, visit us online, or drop into an Atlantic Union Bank branch today. Atlantic Union Bank. Any way you bank.